Gentlemen, Craig and Marc Kielburger. He said, Marc, what type of legacy do you want to leave? And he always asks me this L word, this legacy question, this question I really want to deeply ask you here this morning. Until I finally said, okay, I will go for 2 weeks. And I went to the slums of Thailand and I got to work here in an AIDS ward. And it was an amazing experience. What happened was 2 nurses came up and one literally hugged me on my first day. And she had a big smile on her face. She said, Marc, thank goodness you're here. You're a doctor, right? So I said, kinda. I watch ER every Thursday. Until they said, we're gonna teach you medical school. And I said, I can't do this. I'm only one person. I can't make this kind of difference. And I was leaving. And this boy, he knocked on my door. And he said, Marc, what are you doing? And I said, I'm leaving. He said, what we do is we all come together and we choose one day as all our birthdays. And we have one big birthday party. And it's coming up in 3 days and you have to be there. It's so much fun. And I said, reluctantly, I'll go.
I wasn't looking for a social issue to stand here. I was looking for the comics in the paper. But one moment, I just saw this article.
When Craig Kielburger was only 12, he decided to take a 7-week trip to South Asia.
Has he ever gone to school? He does not know what a school is at all.
Craig Kielburger came back to Canada saying his fight is far from over.
I've been to about 50 countries where we do human rights work. And one of the most frequent questions I ask kids is, if you could have any dream at all, anything, what would it be? The most frequent answer? A chance to go to school. To ask each other, what are you passionate about? What can we do as a family? What contribution can we make? When you get home tonight, to put your family calendar on the kitchen table and circle the day that you're gonna go volunteer. Put in your BlackBerry or your calendar, mark it just as important as that office report that's due. Or for the kids, when you go back to school, to the students, to start a conversation with your fellow students and the teachers and say, imagine if our school, imagine if we got together and adopted a sister village in Africa or got involved in helping here locally. Imagine what we can do. That's the tougher action. It takes courage. It takes a commitment. It takes time. But as Dr. King once said, we do this work not because it's easy. We do this work because it's necessary.
What's down the road for you, Marc? Because you're, among other things, I mean, you've been doing this a long time, but you're also a Rhodes Scholar and you've got a degree in law. So what's the future for you? Are you going to stick with these organizations?
We can play a major difference in changing the lives of others. We need to understand that we're going to spend $1 trillion this year on the military. That's more than $3 billion a day. We need to understand that we're going to spend $18 billion this year on makeup. But according to the United Nations, it would only take an additional $17 billion, less than our makeup budget, to ensure that a child wouldn't die of poverty every 2 seconds. We also need to understand that we're going to spend $17 billion this year in North America alone on dog food and cat food, which is more money, by the way, than we spend on foreign aid. But again, according to the United Nations, it's only take an additional $15 billion to put every single child in the world into school.
It's very possible
in our lifetime to end the worst forms of poverty in our world. Every World Bank study, every UN, every government agency, every academic who's ever seriously looked at this question says our world has more than enough. It's a question of if we care enough.
For you see, young people have always been at the forefront of every major movement for social change. So whether it was the students standing in front of the tank at Tiananmen Square, or the anti-apartheid rallies in colleges and university campuses across North America, it has always been young people speaking out, and today we follow in that proud tradition.
We want to show the world that we can end poverty. We want to show the world that this is the generation that we have been waiting for.